Assalamu alaikum. Good morning. Dear students, last class we discussed about some important literary works during the medieval period. Once again, I invite you such kinds of the important works. First one, Rubaiyat. Rubaiyat is the famous work written by Omar Khayyam. This is the Omar Khayyam is a prominent poet, philosopher and a writer from Arabia. His famous work Rubaiyat. The next one Shahnama. Shahnama is the famous work of Al-Firdausi. Al-Firdausi was a poet from Arabia and he was prominent writer about the Iran kings. Okay, Iranian kings that his famous work is Shahnama. Okay, the next one is Saint Augustine. Saint Augustine is a prominent writer from the West or Europe. He was a theologist who prepared the work on the basis of the theological work. His famous work is City of God. City of God is the famous work of Saint Augustine. And from India, the famous writer Kalhana. His work is Rajatarangini. Rajatarangini is the writings about the kings from Kashmir. Kalhana's book Rajatarangini. Kalhana, well-known writer and poet during the medieval India. Okay. So the next one, Jayadeva was a medieval prominent poet whose work is Gita Govinda. Gita Govinda is depicted the details information about the gatherings of the Krishna and Radha. Gita Govinda is the poems written by Jayadeva. Okay, so the next one is the Santa Sentipepo is the main important paintings. Okay, during the medieval period, this is the Santa Sentipepo is the main important paintings during the period of medieval world. So the next one is that what are the contributions of the science and technology during the medieval period? Especially the Arabs were contributed much for the scientific enrichment of the world. So many Arab prominent scientists and philosophers were the plenty during the medieval period. One of the main important person is Ibn Sina or Avicenna, and Ibn Sina or Avicenna much contributed for the medical science and philosophy. Ibn Sina, Avicenna was the prominent person in the field of medical science and philosophy. Okay, the next one is that Ibn al-Qasim. Ibn al-Qasim was the father of surgery. Arab persons already know the surgery and the processing of the surgical system in the medical science. So Ibn al-Qasim was a prominent person in the field of the surgery. He was known as the father of surgery. Okay. The next one is that Muhammad al-Razi. Muhammad al-Razi was a prominent person, especially Muhammad al-Razi, and who worked in the field of the science, especially and in the field of the light, such kinds of the concepts in physics he detailed, and he also known as he contributed much in the field of medical science also. Muhammad al-Razi is a prominent person in medical science also. The next one, Al-Biruni. Al-Biruni, you know, Al-Biruni is a prominent person from Arabia. He was the detailed person in geology and anthropology. Geology is the science that studied about the interior part of earth. Anthropology is the science that study about the different ethnic groups of human beings. So Al-Biruni is a prominent person and in specialized in the field of geology and anthropology. Okay. and Muhammad Al-Razi in medical science. So we studied, and Muhammad Al-Razi is a prominent person who contributed much in the field of medical science. So the next one, Roger Bacon. Roger Bacon was the prominent person, scientist from West. His contribution is automobile and aircraft. He was the founder of the technology in the automobile, and the workings of the machines of the transporting system, automobiles, and the next one, aircraft also. He was the scientist contributed much in this field, automobile and aircraft. Okay, so the next one is Arab contributed much in the field of several areas, several um, science, especially the Arabs contributed much in the field of, the first one is Arab numerals. Arab numerals and zero. Actually, the term zero is derived from the Arabic word zyro. Okay, from the zyro, the Arab numerals and zero, and which spread to the European countries from India. Actually, the Europeans came to India for their trading activities. They collected and copied the Arab numerals and zero from India. Then they transformed these numerals into today we see the mathematics unit. The next one is that in the field of chemistry, the Arab contributed much, several the chemicals and several the alkali and such kinds of the elements that already learned by the Arab person, and it copied and contributed to the other parts of the world. And the Arab contributed algebra, then next one, algebra and opticals were their contributions. Okay, so this is the Arab numeral. Arab numeral, we can see that we using in our Arab language and their moral studies, but these kinds of the Arab numerals and just formed in the West. Okay, it is copied and used best in the field of mathematics. Okay, so and from there we can see that these are the contributions of Arab persons, and then after. Yes, and we can see that other important contributions by through the trade, the technology, instrument for the telescope, street light in the cities. The next one, waste management system, mechanical clocks, principle of gear, surgical instruments, algebra, alchemy, and trigonometry. These are the main important contributions and spread by through the Europeans and West and East by through the trading contact. Okay, trading by through the trading contact, these knowledge spread to the West and East. They exchanged along with the trade goods. They exchanged these informations and knowledge. Once again, the instrument used for the making of the telescope, street lights of the cities, waste management system, mechanical clocks, principles of gear. Gear is mainly using in the vehicles. Okay, surgical instrument, algebra, alchemy, and trigonometry. On the same way, the medieval Chinese people also made a great progress in the field of science and technology, especially gunpowder. Okay, and then next one is seismograph. Seismograph is mainly using for the measuring of earthquake. Next one, the marine compass. Okay, so these are the, and then printing machine. These are the main important contributions of the Chinese, also contributed much. Okay, so please listen. The by through the east and west, by through the trade contract. Actually, what happened is that the trade contract, uh, by through the trade contact, what happened is that the information on science and technology spread and exchange with each other between east and west. In this chapter we already learned what actually having the East, what actually having in West, and what actually they exchange. As a result, what kind of a new culture, the new vision that emerged from East and West. Okay.